My new favorite breakfast on Bright Line Eating is the apple pumpkin spice muffins from the Tasty Freedom cookbook. I make them like bars in a casserole dish. I'll show you the recipe and how I make them in this video. Stay tuned. Today I'm making these apple pumpkin spice muffins, but I am making it batch cooked. This is the Tasty Freedom Cookbook by Lori Lundgren. This is my favorite cookbook if you do Bright Line Eating. I have the Natalie All Batch Cookbook. I have the Bright Line Eating Cookbook, which I think does not have good recipes. I feel terrible saying that because I'm proud of Bright Line Eating for making a cookbook, and I do recommend the Bright Line Eating Cookbook at the beginning of the book for kind of a summary of the program, but the actual recipes, I have not had a good one from the Bright Line Eating Cookbook, except maybe Susan's Tasty Tofu, because basically it's just tofu and soy sauce. Meanwhile, I digress. This is probably my favorite ever breakfast recipe that I've made on Bright Line Eating in terms of sweetness. I've made this once, I batch cooked it. Today I'm gonna batch cook it again. I don't talk about my leftover salad ingredients. I just got home from vacation with my family in North Carolina, so I am making some food. Don't judge me. Everything's kind of chaotic as usual. Over here, I have 6 ounces of canned pumpkin, and this is like me trying to use the leftover pumpkin that I had saved from this recipe that I made last week. What I did is I tripled it, and I'm doing that again today. I don't make muffins. I just put it in a big casserole dish, and then I cut it into 6 squares, which is 3 different servings, 2 squares per serving. That's how I do it. So I actually started with the pumpkin, which you're not supposed to do according to the cookbook, but I just wanted to measure to see how much pumpkin I had. I wanted to make sure that I had enough, and I do, so we're making this recipe. I wanted to make it triple, and here we go. So I'm starting with the recipe that says preheat oven to 350 degrees in a large mixing bowl, mash the bananas. I'm going to just use my potato masher just because it's just easier. So in here I have my 6 ounces of banana with the 6 ounces of pumpkin. I'm just going to mash my banana with the potato masher because it's just easier. All right, that's enough. And then grate an apple until you have 2 ounce grated apple. Let me tell you a little trick. Don't grate your apple. Get you one of these little quick choppers. I will have mine linked in the description box below. This bad boy is just so convenient. 6 ounces of apple coming at it. Oh, 5 5/8, so close. Let me chop up a little bit more over here. All right, 6 ounces of apple. Dehydrated orange peel. Where is that? A half teaspoon would become, if you triple it, like I'm doing, it's 1.5 teaspoons. Let me get that. So I just want to tell you that it is worth buying this because this was an investment I had to make from Amazon, and it really does make it delicious. So definitely check the link in my description box below. I will have a link to purchase dehydrated orange peel from Amazon. So 1.5 teaspoons. I just don't want to mess up this recipe because this recipe was really good as written. So I don't want to leave anything out because I think it's all just good flavor. Canned pumpkin, I already did that. Egg, it says 1 egg, so let's make that 3. Honestly, making such a mess here, but I just had to blend up this 100% peanuts, Crazy Richard's creamy natural peanut butter. I get my peanut butter from Sprouts, as you can see. But you have to blend it up when it's that natural kind. So I use my Magic Bullet blender. All right, here we go. 3 ounces because it just called for 1 ounce. And you know I'm tripling it. I also need to mash this up. Get this nice and consolidated. Honestly, instead of the masher, have that stirred up. I'm gonna add in 3 ounces of oats. Oop. Here's my 3 ounces of oats. Stirring that in. Oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. You're supposed to separate your dry ingredients. Whoops. I'm terrible about that. Okay, my bad. So anyway, it is what it is. I'm just going to stir it in as it comes. 3/4 teaspoon baking powder. Here's 1. The problem with baking powder is like if you don't stir it well, you can taste it when it clumps up in a wet recipe. So I'm full of regret that I did not do the dry ingredients before I mixed them into the wet. That's the baking powder. Next is 3/4 teaspoon baking soda. Same thing. Same thing with maple extract. It's one of those specialty items I will have linked in the description box below. I just got all of this stuff from Amazon. So it says 1/2 teaspoon of each, which is now going to become 1.5 teaspoons. So the recipe calls for 1/8 teaspoon of salt, which would end up being 1/4 plus 1/8. See, this is why they want the dry ingredients mixed up. Not cool, Angela, not cool. I think when you do the dry ingredients the way that I'm doing it this time, like I messed up, everything's a little bit not as mixed as well as it should be. So that's my bad. There's the salt. So then it calls for 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. I don't have that, but I do have Ceylon cinnamon, which is a really strong cinnamon. So I just do 3 teaspoons of that. Really, really, really good. So I'm doing like I did last time, was just, I'm putting in 1 serving at a time and then just trying to mix that up evenly. So that was 1 teaspoon. Here comes teaspoon number 2. It was not as hard to make this last week because I did remember to separate the dry ingredients from the wet, so I wouldn't have to mix this much if I had remembered to do that step. But I was so eager to film everything that I just didn't read or follow the instructions properly, so my bad. Once I get this all stirred up, I'm going to then dump it into my Pam sprayed casserole dish and then bake that bad boy. Here we go. That's it, 350, 25 minutes.